"I sold your house to teach you a lesson about respect," my stepmother sneered over the phone. "The new owners move in next week." I smiled, remembering the secret meeting with my late father's lawyer. "Good luck with that," I replied. She had no idea what was coming. I am Natalie Mitchell, 27 years old, and I just received the most infuriating phone call of my life. My stepmother Patricia was practically gloating. "I sold your house to teach you a lesson about respect," she sneered through the phone. "The new owners move in next week." Her voice dripped with satisfaction, thinking she had finally won. Little did she know about my secret meeting with Dad's lawyer last month. "Good luck with that," I replied calmly. If you are enjoying the story so far, please hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments where you are watching from. I would love to hear your thoughts as this wild ride unfolds. My father, Robert Mitchell, was my rock. Growing up, it was just the two of us in our beautiful Victorian home on Maple Street after my mother left when I was only 4. Dad built his construction business from nothing, working late nights and weekends to provide a stable life for me. We were incredibly close, sharing Sunday morning pancake traditions and summer fishing trips to Lake Michigan. He taught me how to change a tire, how to stand up for myself, and most importantly, how to recognize the good in people. Usually, anyway. 5 years ago, Dad met Patricia at a charity fundraiser. She was charming, attentive, and seemed genuinely interested in his stories about restoration projects. I was 22 then, finishing college and happy to see my father smiling again. They dated for 6 months before he proposed. The wedding was small but elegant, and Patricia played the part of the devoted wife perfectly. Looking back, I should have noticed how her eyes calculated the value of everything in our home. For the first few years, things were relatively peaceful. Patricia redecorated the house, replacing our comfortable, lived-in furniture with expensive modern pieces. Dad didn't mind, he just wanted her to be happy. I had moved into my own apartment by then but visited every weekend. Patricia was always cordial when Dad was in the room, but her smile never reached her eyes when she looked at me. When Dad was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer last year, everything changed. Patricia transformed overnight. Her headaches prevented her from driving him to chemotherapy appointments, so that became my responsibility. She complained about the medical equipment in their bedroom disrupting her sleep, so she moved into the guest room. While I took family leave to care for him, Patricia was mysteriously absent, shopping or at spa appointments. As Dad grew weaker, he became more observant. One afternoon, when Patricia was out, he squeezed my hand and whispered, "Natalie, after I'm gone, go see Marcus Reynolds. He has something for you." Marcus was his longtime attorney and friend. I promised I would, not knowing how significant that instruction would become. Dad passed away 3 months ago. At the funeral, Patricia wore an expensive black dress and accepted condolences with theatrical sniffles, but no real tears. Several times, I caught her checking her watch. My genuine grief seemed to irritate her, as though my tears were an inconvenience, or, worse, a performance that outshined hers. The days following the funeral were a blur of paperwork and phone calls. Patricia wasted no time in asserting her authority over the house. "You should take what personal items you want soon," she told me over coffee, her tone businesslike. "I'm planning to make some changes." The will reading at Marcus Reynolds' office was scheduled for 2 weeks after the funeral. Patricia arrived in a designer suit, perfectly manicured and coiffed. I wore the simple blue dress Dad always liked. Marcus began reading the document, and Patricia's smile grew as Dad's assets were listed. According to the will dated 3 years ago, Patricia inherited the house, the business, and most of his financial accounts. I received a small trust fund and Dad's vintage car collection. Patricia barely concealed her triumph, shooting me a look that clearly said she had won. I was confused. Dad had always promised the house would be mine someday. It had been in our family for 3 generations. Had he changed his mind? The house contained all my childhood memories. The height markings on the kitchen doorframe, the window seat where Dad read me stories, the backyard treehouse he built with his own hands. The thought of losing it felt like losing a part of him all over again. As we left the attorney's office, Patricia touched my arm. "I will give you 2 weeks to remove your things from the attic and garage," she said, her voice falsely sweet. "After that, I am having everything hauled away." That night, alone in my apartment, I remembered Dad's instruction to see Marcus privately. Through my tears, I wondered what my father had known that I was only beginning to understand. 1 week after the well reading, I scheduled a private appointment with Marcus Reynolds. His office was in a historic downtown building, walls lined with law books and family photos. Marcus had been Dad's friend since college, their relationship extending far beyond legal matters. When I arrived, his secretary ushered me directly into his office. "Natalie, thank you for coming," Marcus said, standing to greet me. "Your father wanted to make sure we had this conversation." He gestured to a leather chair across from his desk. "What I am about to share with you was very important to Robert. Marcus opened a drawer and removed a thick manila envelope. About 8 months ago, when your father's prognosis became clear, he came to me with concerns about Patricia's intentions. He placed the envelope on the desk between us. Robert suspected Patricia had married him primarily for financial reasons, and her behavior during his illness confirmed his suspicions. My throat tightened. He never said anything to me. He didn't want to burden you with his marital problems while you were already dealing with his illness, Marcus explained. Instead, he took steps to protect what mattered most. Marcus opened the envelope and spread out several legal documents. 6 months before his death, your father transferred ownership of the house to you through a quitclaim deed. We filed it with the county, but kept the arrangement private. Patricia has no idea. I stared at the papers, my name clearly listed as the property owner. But at the will reading, the will reflected his assets at the time it was created, 3 years ago, Marcus explained. Your father never updated it because he wanted Patricia to believe she would inherit everything. He knew if she discovered the truth while he was still alive, it would make his final months even more difficult. Marcus showed me additional documents, the property tax records now in my name, utility bills Dad had set up for automatic transfer to my accounts after his death, and homeowner's insurance documentation. All the legal requirements had been quietly handled to ensure my ownership was ironclad. Your father also left this for you, Marcus said, handing me a sealed envelope with my name written in Dad's handwriting. With trembling fingers, I opened it. My dearest Natalie, if you are reading this, I am gone, and you have followed my instructions to meet with Marcus. I am sorry for the deception, but I needed to protect you and our family home from Patricia. I realized too late the kind of woman she truly is. The house is yours as it always should be. It belongs to the family who loves it, who understands its history and its heart. Patricia only sees its market value. Be strategic in how you handle this information. Patricia will not take this well, and I want to spare you as much conflict as possible. Marcus will guide you through the legal aspects. Remember that I am proud of you always. Love, Dad. Tears streamed down my face as I folded the letter. My father had protected me one final time. What should I do now? I asked Marcus, wiping my eyes. That depends on what you want, he replied. Legally, you could take possession immediately. Patricia has no right to be in the house without your permission. I considered my options. Patricia believed she had all the power and that position made her dangerous. What if I wait? See what she does? Marcus nodded thoughtfully. That might be wise. Sometimes giving people enough rope allows them to reveal their true character. Just know that any actions she takes regarding the house, selling it, renovating it, even removing fixtures would be illegal without your consent. We developed a plan. I would temporarily move in with my friend Sarah to avoid daily conflicts with Patricia. Meanwhile, Marcus would monitor the legal situation, ready to intervene when necessary. The property tax bills and utilities would continue to be paid automatically from accounts Dad had set up. Your father was a good man, Marcus said as our meeting concluded. He deserved better than Patricia. I left his office feeling both empowered and apprehensive. The house was legally mine, but confronting Patricia would require careful timing. For now, I would follow Dad's advice and be strategic. The next day, I packed essential items from my childhood bedroom while Patricia was at her spa appointment. I took photo albums, my grandmother's quilt, and Dad's favorite books, irreplaceable things Patricia might destroy out of spite. As I was loading my car, she returned, watching me with obvious satisfaction. Finally accepting reality? She asked, leaning against her luxury SUV. Just getting organized, I replied neutrally. Patricia smiled coldly. I am meeting with a real estate agent tomorrow. This neighborhood has become very desirable. I could make a fortune. I bit my tongue and drove away, her words echoing in my mind. She had no idea what was coming. Over the next few weeks, Patricia's behavior became increasingly hostile. 3 days after I moved my essential belongings to Sarah's apartment, I returned to collect more items only to discover Patricia had changed all the locks. When I called her, she answered with fake concern. Oh, did I forget to give you the new keys? I have been so scattered since your father passed. Security is important, you know. There have been break-ins in the neighborhood. I need to get the rest of my things, Patricia, I said, trying to keep my voice level. Of course, dear. How about next Tuesday, between 2 and 4? I have so many appointments these days. When Tuesday arrived, Patricia accidentally scheduled a house showing with her real estate agent during my designated time. I sat in my car across the street watching potential buyers tour what was legally my house. The realtor placed a "coming soon" sign in the front yard before they left. I called Marcus immediately. She is already showing the house. Can she actually sell it? No, he reassured me. Any sale would be fraudulent and invalid, but we should document everything she is doing. Take photos of the real estate sign and any evidence of her attempts to sell. The following weekend, Patricia permitted me to collect more belongings, supervising as though I might steal something. Walking through my childhood home felt surreal. Patricia had already removed family photos from the walls, replacing them with generic artwork. Dad's chair was gone from the living room, and the kitchen had been staged with decorative items that had never been used for actual cooking. "Where is Dad's leather chair?" I asked, noticing the empty corner in the den. "Donated," Patricia said dismissively. "It was worn and outdated." My stomach clenched. That chair was where Dad had recovered after his first rounds of chemotherapy, where he had sat every evening reading the newspaper, where he had held me when I cried after college breakups. Now it was gone, discarded like trash. And his books? The collection from his office? Patricia examined her manicure. "Some man from the university took them yesterday. He gave me $800, which seemed fair for old books. Dad's rare first editions of Hemingway and Steinbeck, his prized possessions that he had planned to pass down to me, sold for a fraction of their value." I swallowed hard, reminding myself that the house and everything that truly mattered would eventually be reclaimed. As I packed my remaining clothes from the bedroom closet, I noticed my grandmother's antique jewelry box was missing from the dresser. When confronted, Patricia feigned ignorance. "Perhaps you already packed it? Or maybe the cleaning service misplaced it." They were quite thorough after Robert passed. The jewelry itself was not particularly valuable, but it contained my mother's wedding ring and my grandmother's pearls, family heirlooms meant for me. I strongly suspected Patricia had either sold them or hidden them away. Each interaction with Patricia became more difficult. She accidentally broke a framed photo of my father and me fishing. She claimed water damage had ruined boxes of my childhood mementos in the attic, though the roof had never leaked. She held impromptu open houses where strangers wandered through rooms filled with my family's history. Sarah became my emotional anchor during this time. Her spare bedroom became my temporary sanctuary, decorated with the few meaningful items I had managed to rescue from the house. "She cannot get away with this," Sarah insisted one evening as I tearfully recounted discovering Patricia had sold Dad's vintage record collection. "Marcus says we need to wait," I explained. "If we reveal my ownership now, she will fight it," claimed Dad was not in his right mind when he transferred the deed. "It will mean a lengthy court battle. Meanwhile, she is selling everything that matters." "Not everything," I said, touching the envelope containing Dad's letter, "and we are documenting it all. Marcus says it strengthens my case when we do confront her." 2 months after Dad's death, Patricia called me unexpectedly. "I've decided to list the house officially next week," she announced. "The market is hot right now, and I want to maximize my return." "That house has been in my family for generations," I said, my voice catching. "And now it is mine," Patricia replied coldly. "Your father left it to me, not you. Perhaps if you had been more supportive during our marriage, things might be different." Her revisionist history infuriated me. I had been the one driving Dad to treatments while she shopped for designer clothes. I had been the one sleeping in the hospital chair while she complained about the disruption to her social schedule. "You are making a mistake," I warned her. Patricia laughed. "The mistake was your father's, thinking you deserved anything after how disrespectful you were to me. Consider this a life lesson. Natalie, actions have consequences." After hanging up, I immediately called Marcus. "She is listing the house next week. Let her," he advised. "Every action she takes without your consent as the legal owner strengthens our position. We will let this play out a bit longer." "But what if someone actually buys it? I cannot let strangers move into my house." "Any sale would be null and void," Marcus assured me. "The title search will eventually reveal the truth. But it might be better to let her get to that point before we intervene. Right now, she could claim confusion or ignorance. If she actually attempts to sell property she does not own, the legal consequences become much more serious." I reluctantly agreed to his strategy, though watching Patricia's real estate listing go live the following week was excruciating. The professional photos showcased a house I barely recognized, staged, impersonal, stripped of the warmth that had made it a home. The asking price was almost double what the property was worth, even in the current market. Over the next 2 weeks, I drove by regularly, watching potential buyers come and go. Patricia installed a lockbox for real estate agents and moved most of her things to a luxury apartment downtown, telling neighbors she was downsizing after her tragic loss. She continued selling or disposing of family items, including Dad's tools and workshop equipment that represented decades of his craftsmanship. Each loss felt like grieving Dad all over again, but I clung to the knowledge that Patricia's actions were digging her into a deeper legal hole. Marcus documented everything, building a case that would eventually lead to her downfall. I just had to be patient, though my patience was wearing increasingly thin. "I sold your house to teach you a lesson about respect," Patricia sneered over the phone 3 weeks after listing the property. "The new owners move in next week." Her voice contained undisguised triumph, and I could picture her smug expression. After a moment of stunned silence, I remembered Marcus's coaching for this inevitable moment. "Good luck with that," I replied calmly. My response clearly irritated her. She had expected tears or pleading. The Bradfords signed the papers yesterday, she continued, trying to provoke a reaction. They offered $50,000 above asking price. Cash deal. No contingencies. The closing is scheduled for Monday. I gripped the phone tighter. Congratulations. They are planning to gut the entire first floor, Patricia added venomously. Open concept is very popular now. That hideous wood paneling in the study that you and your father were so attached to, that will be the first thing to go. The paneling had been installed by my grandfather, each piece hand-selected and finished. Dad and I had spent an entire summer refinishing it when I was 16. I swallowed hard, reminding myself that the Bradfords would never get the chance to touch it. Is there anything else, Patricia? I asked, my voice remarkably steady. Her frustration at my composure was palpable. Just that I am using the money to buy a beachfront condo in Florida. I think your father would have wanted me to enjoy my widowhood in comfort, do not you? I think my father would have wanted a lot of things, I replied. Goodbye, Patricia. After hanging up, I immediately called Marcus. She did it. She actually sold the house. Closing is Monday. Perfect, Marcus said, sounding satisfied. Now we can act. I will contact the title company today and provide proof of your ownership. The sale cannot proceed without clear title. What about the buyers? The Bradfords? They did not do anything wrong. They will be informed before closing. It is unfortunate they were caught in Patricia's scheme, but legally, they have no claim to the property. I felt a mixture of relief and anxiety. After months of watching Patricia dismantle my family home piece by piece, the confrontation was finally coming. Part of me wanted to see her face when she realized her plan had failed spectacularly. Another part dreaded the inevitable drama. Later that afternoon, Marcus called back. The title company has been notified. They are contacting Patricia's real estate agent now. I expect we will hear from her very soon. We did not have to wait long. My phone rang barely an hour later, Patricia's name flashing on the screen. I let it go to voicemail. She called 3 more times in rapid succession, then sent a series of increasingly frantic text messages. What have you done? The title company says there is a problem with the house. Fix this now. If this is some kind of trick, you will regret it. I forwarded the messages to Marcus without responding to Patricia directly. He advised me to continue ignoring her for now. Let her stew. The more agitated she becomes, the more likely she is to reveal her true intentions when we do meet. Patricia showed up at Sarah's apartment that evening, pounding on the door and shouting my name. Sarah and I watched through the peephole as she alternated between threats and false concern about my mental state to neighbors who emerged to investigate the commotion. Eventually, she left a crumpled envelope taped to the door. Inside was a handwritten note demanding I contact her before making accusations that could damage both our reputations. The next morning, Marcus arranged a meeting at his office for the following day, Saturday, 3 days before the scheduled closing. All parties would be present: Patricia, the Bradfords, their respective real estate agents, the title company representative, Marcus, and me. Patricia attempted to have the meeting at her attorney's office instead, but Marcus held firm, pointing out that as the legal property owner, I had the right to determine the venue. That night, I barely slept, rehearsing what I would say when face-to-face with Patricia. Sarah helped me select an outfit that projected confidence: a navy blue blazer over a simple white blouse, similar to what I wore for important presentations in my marketing job. You own that house in this situation, she reminded me. Walk and like it. Despite my preparation, my stomach churned with anxiety as I parked outside Marcus's office building. Patricia's luxury car was already there, as was an expensive SUV I assumed belonged to the Bradfords. Taking a deep breath, I squared my shoulders and entered the building. Repeating Dad's words in my mind, remember that I am proud of you, always. Marcus's conference room felt crowded with tension. Patricia sat rigidly beside her real estate agent, a thin woman named Diane who kept checking her phone nervously. Across the table, Thomas and Emily Bradford, a well-dressed couple in their 40s, whispered to each other, their expressions concerned. Their agent, a man named Jeffrey, studied some paperwork with visible confusion. A woman from the title company sat at the far end, her face professionally neutral. Patricia's eyes narrowed when I entered. She had chosen an outfit that screamed, wealthy widow, designer black dress, pearl necklace, immaculate makeup. The facade of grief without the substance. Can we please get started? She demanded as I took my seat beside Marcus. I have a hair appointment at noon, and this ridiculous misunderstanding needs to be cleared up quickly. Marcus cleared his throat. Thank you all for coming on short notice. I am Marcus Reynolds, attorney for Natalie Mitchell. He nodded toward the title company representative. Ms. Garcia, perhaps you could explain the issue that has brought us here today. Ms. Garcia opened a folder. During our standard title search for the property at 247 Maple Street, we discovered that the seller, Patricia Mitchell, is not the legal owner of record. She slid a document across the table. According to county records, the property was transferred to Natalie Mitchell 6 months ago through a quitclaim deed signed by the previous owner, Robert Mitchell.